All right, so we talked about string processing and connecting to a server, and now the next bit here is bytes and files. We haven't done file I/O. So let me start here. Let's go here to my environment. I'm going to make a new one, file, new notebook. All right. So you got to wait for it to spin up a new container. Okay, so here we are. All right, so here you see I got 1 and I plus 1. It's an integer. The class will tell you what type of variable it is. And integers are numbers you can add things to. Now, let's try these. All right, so now if you put a B in quotes, you get a byte array. And you can't, that is type is class bytes, and you can't add 1 to it. Bytes are not the numbers you can add to, those are integers. All right, so you convert it. There are different ways to convert bytes to integers. One simple way is to pick one particular byte with square brackets. So, there. If I set B to A is 0, then it's a 1. Now I can add 1 to it. By the way, this is something useful to know about Google Colab. It remembers everything in the previous box. All right, your variables are retained. All right, so that's one way. So here's a way to add a byte, 1 to a byte object. You could do all this. So you make a byte object, then you pick the first byte out and turn it into an integer, then you add 1, and then you turn it back into bytes. So I'd like to run it. Where's my run button? Here, run button. There it is. Okay. There we go. So that's an example. There's bytes. There's integer. You add 1 to it. Now you can turn it back into bytes. And this is what you'll have to do to send data to the web, because the send and receive want byte arrays of data going out and coming back. All right. And now let's talk about files. So I'm going to make a file called infile, containing this text, which I think I can actually do in this Google Colab environment. If I go here, well, I can do it this way. I can bang, there, echo hello to infile. That should work. And I should be able to see it here. Yep, there's a file called infile. Okay, fair enough. So now I have a file. Here's how you can read the contents of a file. This is, by the way, this brings up an important thing I haven't mentioned earlier. In Python, crouch quiet down there a minute, folks, so the people near you can hear. So in Python, indentation matters. This was very painful for me because I came from C, where white space doesn't matter. And you use curly brackets around a block of code. What you do in Python is if you have something that refers to a block of code, you put a colon, and then you indent all the lines after that. And all the lines that are indented are in this block, and when you stop indenting, the block is over, which is pretty natural when you get used to it. So now, it's going to open the file, then it's going to read a byte. While the byte is not empty, it's going to print it and read the next byte. So this will read a file byte by byte, and let you print out the contents. Yeah. So that's one, and that should.
Like tab in.
What's that?
Space.
You can use tabs or spaces, but you have to be consistent. If you use a tab, you got to use a tab all the way down. If you have anything inconsistent, it'll complain.
Can you use like 2 spaces and then 4 spaces?
Yes, any amount you like. By the way, there was a survey, and they found that developers that indent with spaces get paid more than ones that indent with tabs. Anyway,
That answers the question.
yeah, so that's right. Anyway, so now you can manipulate the file. Let's take a look at this one. That's going to read in file, and it's going to write it to out file. So this is going to read bytes, this is going to write bytes. So it's going to read it and write it right out byte by byte. So right now, I only have one file called infile, but when I run this, it should create a new file. And it does, called out file. And the out file will contain just a copy of the in file right now. But anyway, now you got a few challenges. There's a file you can download, and you have to count the number of 8 bytes. And then this one is kind of cool. you have two files and you have to add the bytes together to construct a flag. This is actually a simple way to encode things. Both these are going to be unreadable, but they'll be readable after you add the bytes, byte by byte. And here's one that you add it together, and it's going to create an image. And so neither one of them independently is an image, but put together they're an image. So there's a few more things to try. I'll shut up and let people work for a while. Just go around.